Hello and welcome to the virtual orientations for the Thousand Islands event. For those of you that have done this race before, it'll be familiar to most of you. The course is largely the same with a couple of small tweaks to make some improvements over years past. So if you are a first-time athlete, we hope that you enjoyed the race. If you're a veteran athlete, I hope that you notice some of these small changes and you appreciate the benefits. The highlight, of course, is running through the Brockville tunnel. So for this orientation, I'll break it into 5 sections, and I'll do it somewhat chronologically. Pre-race, swim, bike, run, and then post-race. For those of you that are doing a swim, bike, or a swim cycle event, you can obviously ignore the run portion. If you're doing a duathlon, you obviously won't swim in this order. So the orientation video might not line up perfectly for all of you, but all the content's there. You can kind of skip forward and slide back to get to the part that's most relevant to you. Pre-race. So the first change is that we've moved the location of the race in the staging area by just a few hundred meters. If you remember in years past, it used to be just at the head of the Brockville tunnel. Now we've moved to lovely Centene Park, right over here. So for reference, here's the park that we're hosting at this year, as where we used to be, just right over here. Doesn't seem like a big change, but this park is much more flat, much more square, a little more of a blank canvas to work with, and gives us lots more space for more athletes and a little more room between bikes and whatnot. So, bib pickup will be the day before the race from 3 to 6 p.m. at Centene Park. So from 3 to 6 p.m. you can come by Centene Park and grab your bib, walk around, meet our team, ask questions, and all of that. At 5 p.m. on the day before the race, we'll have an in-person orientation where I'll take about an hour and I'll walk you through the swim, bike, run portion. I'll walk you around the course and whatnot and give you guys a chance to see things in person with me, and we'll go over any questions you might have. So that covers kind of the pre-race. On the day of the race, let's start with parking. Same as last year, for those that know it, there's a big parking lot just here on Water Street near the blockhouse. Most cars can park here. If that does fill up, there's plenty of community parking just north of this image here, kind of right up in here, further north and further east. So I'd say 80 to 90% of you should fit into the parking lot right over here, and then you can walk or bike the couple hundred meters just to get to Centene Park. Otherwise, it's kind of equidistant to parking in the community up here on the north side of Highway 2. Lots of room up there. One of the first questions we always get is, what time should I arrive on the morning of the race? We always say 1 hour before your start. So if you're swimming at 8:30, and let's say the Olympic triathlon or something like that, you'll want to get there at 7:30. So if you're parked by 7:30, that gives you an hour just to bike over to the start line, grab your bib if you haven't done so already, get your body marking, timing chip, get your bike in transition, get warmed up, get a lay of the land, and then get ready for your start. One of my biggest pieces of advice, if you're able to swing it, is to get your bib the day before. That'll make your list of to-dos a lot shorter on race day. There's a few less things to get done, makes the morning of a little easier. And if you know somebody who still wants to sign up, we will have a few spots available for late reg. So if someone hasn't signed up online yet, they have until Tuesday at 6 p.m. to sign up online at somersault.ca. But if they miss that window, we got a few spots set aside for those that want to sign up in person on Saturday from 3 to 6 p.m. or on race day morning starting at 6:30 a.m. The swim, one of my favorite improvements from years past. So we're all going to start on land here. We call it a beach start, but there's no sand, so we'll call it a modified beach start. It's a nice grassy plain right next to the T-zone, and they've got this lovely staircase that goes in. So not very slippery, nice step stones to kind of get in. You come in the water and you'll do loops of your course. So just follow the legend there, but the Olympic distance will follow A, B, C, D, E, F. If you're doing 2 loops for the Olympic, you stay in the water and just do a second loop. There's no coming out and back in. It'll be a 1-loop course for the 750 meter swimmers. And then what we're going to do is after that race, we'll take out these 2 buoys, buoys C and D. So that way those that are doing the 200 meter loop just have to go around all the buoys that are in the water. There's no need to ignore these ones or those ones. If there's a buoy in the water, you go around it. You'll be swimming counterclockwise, keeping the buoys on your left, and you exit from the same staircase that you came out of. A few nice perks about this new course is that you'll spend more time swimming parallel to shore, so you're never going to be more than about 35 meters from shore. So you're not going to be way out in the middle of the river, as where in years past we used to start over here and swim out this way. Now you're much safer. There's some exit ladders all along the wall here, so if you have to cut your swim short, we can bring you to the ladder, get on out. We'll adjust it on Sport Stats so you can go enjoy a good bike and a good run. So that'll be it. Keep in mind that we'll have some nice photographers on site, so as you're swimming along and you come in and out of the water, don't worry about keeping an eye out for the photographers. They'll keep an eye out for you, but make sure you're smiling and look like you're having fun out there. For the bike course, this has not changed from years past. Actually, one small change from years past. We're just going to move the turn point for the multi-loop athletes doing the Olympic just to the top of the hill here, right around here. There's going to be a bit of construction on site right on this road here. So when you get on the mountain line, the part of the road will be milled, as they call it, or kind of corduroy pattern, because they're still waiting to put that top layer of asphalt in. The top layer of asphalt might not be in time for our race, and if it's not, there's about 100 meters of it, and it's right as you're getting on the bike and getting off the bike, so when you're going at your slowest. Not a risk for flat tires or anything like that, just something to be aware of, but because of that, we're going to move the turn point just to the top of the hill over there. There are no cutoff times for the bike course. We'll have our motorcycle patrol group patrolling the event, and they'll keep an eye on who's bringing up the sweep, and we'll make sure that we bring every athlete down safely to Centene Park. Make sure you know your loops. It really is just one loop for most athletes, the exception being anyone doing the 40-kilometer bike ride. So it's a 20-kilometer loop, 10 kilometers out, 10 kilometers back. If you are doing the 40-kilometer bike ride, make sure you do a second turnaround here and get that second 20-kilometer ride done. So that covers the bike, but I always want to cover a little highlight mention here for the swim cycle athletes. If you're doing a swim cycle and there's no run, you still have to cross the finish line. So once you've come back down the hill and you've put your bike back into the T-zone, you have to just go from the T-zone to the finish line. It's maybe about 20 meters long, but you'll drop off your bike. You can leave your helmet on if you like. You can leave your shoes on or shoes off. It's whatever you like, because you'll be on grass at that point. And just make sure you go from your bike to the finish line so that SportsStats knows that your race has been completed. And that'll be the end of your race. It'll also give you a chance to get that finish line photo with SportsStats, timed it, with finisher pics. So when you cross the finish line, SportsStats will capture your finish time, and that'll sync up with the photos, knowing that that athlete belongs to you, kind of thing. And you can go online to photos.somersault.ca after the event and see all of your photos. Last part of the race is the run, largely unchanged from last year, where most of it's going to be through the Brockville Tunnel. This is the highlight of our run course for the whole year. It's probably one of the best running features I've seen anywhere in a triathlon. The difference being that because we're staged over here, you'll obviously run from the T-zone to the tunnel, as opposed to doing the blockhouse over here. So much nicer. You don't have to cross the street anymore. It's much safer, a lot more fun, and a lot more scenic. Make sure you do know your loops. So one loop is 2.5 kilometers. It's 1.25 kilometers out, 1.25 kilometers back. So everyone is either doing 1, 2, or 4 loops. We'll also have a water station in the usual spot right at the entrance to the tunnel. So right before you go in the tunnel, you can grab some water or some F2C nutrition to fuel yourself on the run. You can grab it on the way out or on the way back. Easy as that. And then post-race, even though you've done the race, there's still a few reminders to go out there. We'll have some nice Libra beer at the finish line, so some non-alcoholic beverages to enjoy post-race. We'll have our usual finish line food, which has all kinds of fun highlights. Over the year, we've tried things like Pop-Tarts and brownies and pickles, so stay tuned, to see what's offered at this year's finish line. All the photos from the race take about 72 hours to get online. There's usually about 6,000 photos from the day, so give us a couple days to sort through them and tag them all. But they will be live at photos.somersault.ca, as where your results for timing are live pretty well instantly. You can go on to sportstats.ca a minute or so after you cross the finish line to see your official results and compare yourself to everybody else. Keep in mind that most of our races, for the triathlons at least, are chip timing, not gun timing. So because your time doesn't start till you go in the water, you can imagine a scenario where two people finish side by side at the finish line. They may not have started side by side, so the overall results will reflect that. If you entered in the water first, your time will start first. So if you finish side by side with somebody else who started, let's say, 30 seconds behind you, you might not line up nicely on the results. So make sure you push to the finish line. And that's it. If you have any questions, email me. It's adam@somersault.ca. Otherwise, we hope to see you for bib pickup on Saturday, or worst case, we'll see you Sunday morning at the race start.